Welcome to the League of Nerds comic book segment number 156. I'm John Cooney here to talk to you about new comics being released the 14th of January 2015, beginning as usual with my first five, meaning these are the first 5 books I intend to read this week, and I'll give you a little more depth on them, starting with at number 1, The Walking Dead number 136, with the title Found. Series writer Robert Kirkman told CBR-TV about shifting character focus.
Carl, to a certain extent, is kind of the central focus of the book. I mean, Rick is going to be very much a part of the series, and he's still going to be around. But I do think that, you know, it's possible that people haven't necessarily noticed that at this point, but there is somewhat of a shift, you know, whereas before it was like, you know, 70% Rick and 30% Carl. That's kind of, you know, 60% Carl and, you know, 40% Rick at this point. You know, we'll be hanging out with Carl a little bit more and seeing how he's living in this world and what he's doing moving forward. I mean, it's all by design. It was always eventually, you know, I wanted to stay with the book long enough for Carl to evolve into a character that can actually do interesting things. And it's exciting that we've finally gotten to that point. But yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know. I don't have everything planned out from day one, but there are certainly, you know, big movements in the direction of the story that I've had planned for a good long while.
At number 2, we've got Star Wars number 1, The Greatest Space Adventure of All Time returns to Marvel. Luke Skywalker and the ragtag band of rebels fighting against the Galactic Empire are fresh off the biggest victory yet, the destruction of the massive battle station known as the Death Star. But the Empire is not toppled yet. Join Luke along with Princess Leia, smugglers Han Solo and Chewbacca, droid C-3PO and R2-D2, and the rest of the Rebel Alliance as they strike out for freedom against the evil forces of Darth Vader and his master, the Emperor. Written by Jason Aaron with art by John Cassidy, this is the Star Wars saga as only Marvel Comics could make it. Series writer Jason Aaron also spoke to CBR-TV about the Star Wars relaunch.
Well, I mean, what's great about this is that, you know, this is the first new Marvel Star Wars in decades, right? This is the first new Star Wars comic book of this new canon, the new Lucasfilm canon. They've kind of said all the comics and books and stuff you've seen before, or those are Star Wars Legends, I think they're calling it now. And so everything from this point on is a brand new. It's part of the same canon as the movies and everything. So we're doing the first comic book series, you know, big series of that, which is awesome. And it's the first Star Wars comic, you know, of next year when the first of the new movies starts rolling out. So, I mean, all that stuff it's a pretty exciting time to be doing Star Wars.
Sure.
Just as a reader coming into this, pretty much all you need to have seen is the original film. If you've seen that one movie, you can pick this book up and jump right into it and understand. You don't have to have read a single Star Wars comic or seen anything beyond that. Certainly, if you have been reading stuff, if you've seen the other movies, you know, there'll be things that will stick in there from time to time that you'll get. But I love the fact that with this, we really get to go back to the original movies. You know, where did we all become Star Wars fans? What got me so excited about that universe as a kid? And it was those original films. Yeah. So I love just being able to go back to that. That's all I had to do, research-wise. I sat down and watched a couple movies, and I'm like, all right, I'm ready to write C-3PO now.
So this all comes out of A New Hope?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, the first issue opens just a matter of weeks after the destruction of the Death Star.
Okay.
So it's got, you know, we got our whole main cast of characters, you know, Han and Leia and Chewie and the droids and everybody. Kind of the Rebels trying to sort of press their advantage, you know, after scoring this big win. And, you know, Vader is in there as the main bad guy. So, I mean, it's the Star Wars that we all grew up with.
Right.
At number 3, we've got Spiderverse number 2 of 2. The Spiderverse anthology continues. So many Spider-Men and women. This issue, Video Game Spidey, Punk Rock Spidey, Fairy Tale Spidey, Mexico's own Spidey Tale in Spanish. Senior editor Nick Lowe discussed the diversity of characters coming out of Spider-Verse. Quote, "We're going to try and give it as many different toned and feeling books with different characters at the helm because we're ready to branch beyond Peter Parker. We've got a really rich corner of the Marvel Universe here that we can explore in greater ways. I hope the readers out there are ready to prove me right on this." Close quote. At number 4, we've got Batman Eternal number 41. Nanites are tearing the Narrows apart. Can Red Robin stop them while the rest of the city burns? Series co-writer Kyle Higgins mentioned this issue specifically when sharing his plans for the series. Quote, I just wrote the introduction and first big appearance of Bluebird. Obviously, she appeared in Batman number 28 in the Flash Forward, but I got to deal with the circumstances that see her putting on the costume for the first time and see her going out in the first kind of virgin mission. It doesn't go as smoothly as you would think. It was a lot of fun. I wanted to call the issue Black and Bluebird all over, but I got vetoed. But that's the idea behind it. So often we see people become heroes and the transition happens very quickly. They seem to be a natural at it immediately, and that doesn't interest me. So I'm pretty excited for those two issues, number 41 and 42, in the end, which I guess I can't say anything about. Close quote. At number 5, we've got New Suicide Squad number 6. Harley Quinn takes center stage. The squad's mission to China has gone to hell, and now an army of unstable super beings is trying to murder them and anything else that stands in their way. Series writer Sean Ryan explained why he enjoys writing this book. Quote, I like being able to write villains. I think they're very interesting to write because you get to try to turn them into real people. If you write a hero, they always generally have to be good, even the bad sides of them. But with the villain, they do bad things and you can also try to show them as people. At the same time, I like in this book we get to do big international stories. I like reading international news and what's going on in the world, so I like to take that knowledge and interest and bring it to the book with the story of Russia, then the story in China, and some of the other stuff we have planned. Also, I like reading about the CIA and things like that, and that's part of the book as well. Secret government stuff and operations around the world. All those things I like reading about, I can funnel that information into this book, which is really nice. Close quote. Rounding out the top 10 at number 6, we've got Miles Morales Ultimate Spider-Man number 9, Miles Morales, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Enough said. At number 7, we've got Avengers number 40, In 4 months, time runs out. At number 8, we've got Daredevil number 12, the shocking conclusion to Stuntmaster Death-Defying Dare. The Owl begins to set his machinations into motion, and another old foe waits in the wings to blindside the man without fear. At number 9, we've got Cyclops number 9. Yeah, Scott Summers may be serving aboard a ship full of space pirate killers and cutthroats, but as he gets to know them, they seem like nice killers and cutthroats. Especially the captain, who's starting to treat Scott like the son he never had. And especially the captain's cute daughter, who wants to make kissy face at every opportunity. So what's the problem? Well, it might have something to do with the stolen superweapon sitting in the pirate ship cargo hold. The one powerful enough to blow up an entire solar system. Everybody in the galaxy wants it, but nobody wants to pay for it. And at number 10, we've got Avengers 34.2. The godlike Starbrand is losing his grip on his humanity. Can Nightmask bring him back to Earth? And as our planetary defense, we need Starbrand more than ever. Feel the heat of Colobus, a cosmic threat powerful enough to burn us all down. For the best of the rest from DC Comics, we've got Astro City number 19. As her career may be ending, Coral looks back at her earliest days as a superhero, including the roots of her on-again, off-again romance with Crackerjack, plus Honor Guard and the Omega Rangers. Next, we have Batgirl number 38. Things are going surprisingly well in Batgirl's new life, but nothing good ever lasts in Gotham City, and the other yellow boot is about to drop hard. We've also got Fables, The Wolf Among Us number 1. Even before the first issue of Fables, there were stories to be told, shadowy avenues to explore, and lives hanging in the balance. Bigby Wolf has seen plenty in his time as sheriff of Fabletown. Next, we have FBP Federal Bureau of Physics number 17. With the universe tearing apart at the seams, Adam is faced with a choice. Either watch from the sidelines or join forces with a man he cannot trust. And we've got Grayson number 6. It's the battle you never thought you'd see as Grayson goes toe-to-toe with the Midnighter. From Marvel Comics, we've got All New Ultimates number 12, the shocking conclusion, the climactic, life-changing conclusion for the rawest, grittiest new team on the block. Their fate hangs in the balance. Can the Ultimates save the city from catastrophe yet again and survive the process? Monsters, mayhem, and superpowered fisticuffs. If this isn't the Marvel comic to end all Marvel comics, we don't know what is. Next, we have Amazing X-Men number 15, the once and future Juggernaut 1 of 4. We've all heard the phrase, those are big shoes to fill. That's especially true when those are the massive boots of the unstoppable Juggernaut. So when the Gem of Sidorak reappears, the X-Men must ask themselves, who's going to wear those boots? We've also got Deathlok number 4. Deathlok goes up against an aerial assault on the battlefield, but his more difficult struggle may be closer to home. S.H.I.E.L.D. turns on Agent Hope. Domino finds Michael Collins. What can he reveal about the Deathlok program? Next, we have Guardians 3000 number 4. On a quest to save their future, Charlie 27, Yondu, Gina, and their new ally Star-Lord must find a doorway to the past, and that means walking into the lair of the most dangerous being in the cosmos, the Sleeping Hunger, and what has become of Vance, Martinez, and Starhawk missing in action, presumed dead. Has A Sentience captured them, or is there no one left alive to capture? We've also got Nightcrawler number 10, Nightcrawler versus the Shadow King. Haunted by the losses of loved ones, how can Nightcrawler overcome the darkness in his soul to prevent the Shadow King's influence from spreading across the multiverse? Next we have S.H.I.E.L.D. number 2, why has S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Gemma Simmons gone undercover at the Coles Academic High School in Jersey City? Maybe it has something to do with the all-new Ms. Marvel, and the most dangerous lunch meal ever served. We've also got Silver Surfer number 8, The Damnation Dilemma. The surfer finds himself drawn to the most unlikely planet he's ever sensed in all his cosmic travels, a population of 666 billion sentient beings made up of 666.667 billion races. What is the secret of the world where practically no two life forms are the same? And when Norrin Radd deals with this mystery, Dawn Greenwood comes face to face with the greatest monster in the galaxy. Next we have Thanos Vs Hulk number 2 of 4. Jim Starlin continues his epic tale of smash versus space. Can the Hulk withstand the devious machinations of Thanos? Meanwhile, Annihilus plots to exploit Big Green and Mean in the most unexpected fashion. And we've got Wolverines number 2, Sinister Strikes. As Tekken lies crippled and fading, and Shogun sees death looming for himself and his entire Weapon X crew, only Wolverine's legacy, X-23, Sabretooth, Mystique, and Lady Deathstrike, can save them all, but none of them can be trusted. From Dynamite Entertainment, we've got Twilight Zone number 11. At the end of his career, in the bottom of a bottle, Ben Chambers took on one last case. Investigate the unsolved murder of an Iraq war veteran and son to corporate CEO Jason Black. What he got was a trip through the past unlike any other. Having broken the time stream, will Detective Chambers be able to save the young man's life? And if so, what kind of consequences might it have on the present? The answer to these questions and more lay waiting for you in the Twilight Zone. From Image Comics, we've got Jupiter's Legacy number 5. Meet Barnabas Wolf, a former supervillain with Sherlock Holmesian instincts who hunts heroes for the U.S. government. While Brandon and Uncle Walter struggle with their utopian vision of America, Chloe and family live under the radar in Australia, but their peaceful lives are about to explode when the authorities find suspicious super activity down under and send their number one weapon to investigate. The generation gap is about to reach the next level as Miller and Quitely bring their epic to a head. Next we have Lazarus number 14, Conclave Part 4. Forever has been sent by her father to kill her traitorous brother Jonah. What happens next is the start of a revolution. And we've got Savage Dragon number 201. Following the cataclysmic events of our awe-inspiring 200th issue, Malcolm Dragon comes face to face with the new head of the Vicious Circle. It's a battle like none you've seen before. From Valiant Entertainment, we've got the death-defying Dr. Mirage number 5 of 5. Dr. Shanfong Mirage has lived and died and lived to fight again. Scarred, transformed, and strengthened, Dr. Mirage returns from the perils of the spirit world to face the treacherous men who would erase her from existence, with everything to fight for and nothing left to lose. Do not miss out on the haunting climax of the critically acclaimed sold-out series that Comic Book Resources calls equal parts clever and emotional as it sets up an impressive new hero. And we've got Rai number 6. As 41st century Japan spirals into chaos, will Rai protect his nation or help tear it down? As Rai grapples with a life beyond the control of father, new feelings distract him from uprisings, secret armies, and a bomb that could doom the mission to free New Japan before it even begins. Matt Kent and Clayton Crane's astonishing saga of the year 4001 rockets towards a terrible reckoning as Battle for New Japan continues. Out in trades, we've got Star Wars, the original Marvel Years Omnibus Volume 1 hardcover. As the phenomenon dawned in 1977, Marvel Comics published the very first Star Wars comic book series. Now the House of Ideas is representing those original adventures in its wampa-sized omnibus format. It's the return of the Jedi to Marvel in an opening volume that begins with A New Hope and ends with The Empire Strikes Back. In between, the rebels face a wealth of new perils, from space pirate Crimson Jack to the bounty hunter Bellert Valance, as well as a surprisingly svelte Jabba the Hutt, with one T. Luke goes back to Tatooine, Leia battles alone, Han and Chewie play a deadly big game, and Darth Vader hunts for answers. With all your old favorites and plenty of new faces, hello Jackson, there's no doubt the Force is strong with this one. Collecting Star Wars number 1 through 44 and annual number 1. And we've got the Uncanny X-Men Volume 3, The Good, the Bad, the Inhuman trade paperback. The new Xavier School changes as effects of Battle of the Atom are felt, and Kitty Pryde and the all-new X-Men join Cyclops' Renegade Squad. Meanwhile, Magneto embarks on a personal mission that sets him at odds with much of the X-Men and the whole Marvel Universe. As Magneto reaches a crossroads, everything he's fought for is called into question, and he's forced to make a decision that will change him forever. Elsewhere, the ladies of the Uncanny X-Men go out on the town and find themselves face to face with the effects of inhumanity. And Cyclops declares a training day for the X-Men students, but the training seems to be that the teachers just abandon them to fend for themselves on a dangerous mission. What will these inexperienced young mutants do now? Collecting Uncanny X-Men number 14 through 18. Okay, that's just a few of my favorite books out this week. There's still plenty of others available, and I broke out all the Marvel titles this week in their own video, as well as a separate video for all of DC, and even a video with the top independent publishers, and you can find them all on my YouTube channel at he'sgotissues.com. And we'll also have links up on the leagueofnerds.com, our Facebook page, so be sure to like us there too. And of course, you can follow everything I'm reading on Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, or Twitter. You can find links to everything in the About section at he'sgotissues.com. And a reminder that both He's Got Issues and the League of Nerds are proud members of the Comics Podcast Network. So until next week, I'm John Cooney, and I've got issues.